Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. The weather in Kisumu is also fantastic today. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from. The county, in case you are within the republic, and the country, in case you are outside the country. I want to begin this video by asking you guys a very simple question. And probably I'll need to read those answers before we proceed. Why do you think America hates Raila Amolo Odinga? Why do you think they hate Raila Odinga? Because for me, I tend to think that the main reason why Raila Odinga has not succeeded in becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya is partly as a result of the American government. In 2007, Raila Amolo Odinga clearly won that particular election. But Mwai Kibaki was declared the president of the Republic of Kenya. Why do you think Raila Odinga was not declared the president? Again, in 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta became the president of the Republic of Kenya. Of course, it can be argued that Uhuru Kenyatta enjoyed the support of the British government, who normally side with the Americans. And in 2022, it was expected that Raila Odinga was going to easily win that presidency, because William Ruto, who was his opponent, didn't really have that international connection. Raila Odinga enjoys serious international connections, but he still failed to win the presidency. As a matter of fact, as we were going for 2022 election, Raila Odinga enjoyed the support of the people. He had voters on his side. That's why even the president, William Ruto, who was declared the president of the Republic of Kenya, ended up winning by less than, by around 230,000 votes, which means Raila Odinga had the votes. Raila Odinga had the deep state. One of the things which in most cases his supporters always believed that he has always lacked, he had the deep state. Raila Odinga had the finance. This was one of the most heavily funded campaign in the Republic of Kenya. William Ruto had money, Raila Odinga also had resources, courtesy of President Uhuru Kenyatta and even the deep state. And Raila Odinga also had what I'm calling the international networks. But still, he failed. Why do you think Raila Odinga is hated by America? Because in this particular election, it was actually projected that Raila Odinga was going to be supported by Americans. But I tend to think that probably the Russia-Ukraine war complicated things for Raila Odinga. 2 years to this election, Raila Odinga was invited to a power breakfast meeting alongside Uhuru Kenyatta in the United States of America. That meeting is normally attended by who is who in Washington. And the fact that they were invited, most people concluded, and even did a video here, that Raila Odinga was headed for a clear victory and support. But as you are going for the elections, when elections were about to start, signs and symptoms started coming from America that they were likely not to support Raila Odinga. In fact, I strongly believe that the ruling, the Supreme Court ruling, was largely influenced by external forces who are American. I also believe that Wafula Chebukati had his guts because of the support from America. And that's why the United States of America ambassador to Kenya, who was at KICC, was seen celebrating. A few days before the elections, I think a few days before the elections, the American embassy released a statement warning their citizens from coming to Kisumu. Why Kisumu? Again, just before the Supreme Court ruling, they issued another statement, which means for them, they knew so well that Raila Odinga was not going to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. So in this video, I want to explain to you guys why the America hates Raila Amolo Odinga. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to the main issue. But before we touch on that, it is clear that Americans are trying to stamp their authority in Kenya. Actually, they've cornered William Ruto. And that's why the GMO has not been allowed. William Ruto had to convene an urgent cabinet meeting, and the GMOs are now in this country. So the biggest beneficiaries will definitely be pharmaceutical companies, because in 2 or 3 years, the impact will be felt in this country. And also, there's a meeting which took place between Ruto and Americans over the issue of Russia and the referendum on the Ukraine. So it shows you that Americans are trying to stamp the authority. There was also that road, I think, which was supposed to be constructed by Americans from Nairobi, Mombasa, and that tender, I think, was diverted to some Chinese. That tender has already been cancelled as we speak, and likely it's going to go now to America. Americans are likely to start doing business again with Kenya, because for a long time, Uhuru Kenyatta looked to China. But what are some of the reasons why Americans hate Raila Odinga? Number one, I think, is the Russian factor, especially for this particular election. I strongly believe if the elections were conducted before the Ukraine-Russia conflict, probably Raila Odinga would have succeeded in his bid of becoming the president. But the moment Russia and Ukraine conflict emerged, America became right at the center of it. It means America would have wanted a situation where they were going to get an ally who was going to support them. That is why I'm just trying to get the tweet. There's a tweet here which the American secretary posted about Russia, let me just get it, sorry for that. Okay, it's here. There is this tweet which was posted by Secretary Blinken. It says, during a call with President Ruto at State House, Kenya, I expressed my appreciation for Kenya's commitment to upholding international law and their support on the UNSC resolutions denouncing Russia's sham referenda in Ukraine, which means Russia is actually a factor. And why is Russia a factor? And why is it affecting Raila Odinga? Raila Odinga's father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, had leanings towards the East. You know, during those times, we had Tom Mboya, who was being supported by Americans. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was being supported by the East, which is Russia, Germany, those Nazi states. So the truth is, Raila Odinga also studied in Germany, and the fear is that Russia and that background would have influence in his presidency. So that's why these guys are not keen on Raila Odinga. They don't want Raila Odinga to become the president of the Republic of Kenya. It is because of the Russia factor, especially at this particular moment in time. If elections had been conducted a few years ago, probably Raila Odinga would have succeeded. Number two, I also tend to think that it has to do with Raila Odinga's training. And I don't know, I just want to ask you, maybe you know, who has been elected the president in East Africa with a training outside British and America? Who? You know, Kibaki was supported against Raila because Kibaki studied in the United States of America. Uhuru Kenyatta studied in America. So it was easy for him. Ruto studied locally. If you compare Ruto, who studied locally, and Raila, who studied in Germany, they would definitely go for Ruto because of the Nazi kind of training. You know, those years, there are several factors which determined the kind of training people were being imparted on. So I tend to think that Raila Odinga's training background, having trained in Germany under Nazi, so I tend to think that's something which these guys are not comfortable with. Having someone like Raila as a president, I don't think they would be comfortable with. Number 3 is probably the interest, which is basically business. Raila Odinga is a socialist by nature. We would want a situation where wealth is distributed to almost all people across the board. What William Ruto was calling bottoms up. Everybody has something. America is a capitalist state, so that if you have money, you have. If you succeed, you succeed. But why are they going for Ruto, who was advocating for social kind of theory? They're going for Ruto because Ruto is a typical capitalist. Ruto, they know that Ruto, as much as is saying whatever he's saying, inside they know that Ruto is a capitalist, that Ruto is a serious businessman, that Ruto is someone who they can give contracts, give kickback, and will take. Because Ruto is a capitalist in general. So Raila Odinga's socialist background is also one thing which is affecting Raila Odinga. Number 4, in my view, is Raila Odinga's track record. Having Raila Odinga as the president would mean we are likely to have another Kagame in East Africa. We also had Magufuli. So they can't allow Raila. Someone like Ruto is easy because America have serious interest in the region. They have serious interest in gold in DRC. They have serious interest in minerals in Kenya. And also they have interest in setting up Kenya as their base military. So they know that for Ruto it would be easy based on his record. Yeah, Ruto will allow anybody to come to Kenya, you know, like that Turkish guy, do whatever he wants and leave. That's what America wants. And they know because of that background of Ruto, they can even manipulate him. Something they are not sure about with Raila Amolo Odinga. Lastly, I also tend to think that Raila Odinga's brand of politics, the firebrand brand of politics, reform credentials, or reform-oriented brand of politics, is also something which I don't think the Americans are keen on. When you are reform-oriented, it means there are certain things you'd want to go this particular direction. And Americans would not want that. They would want a puppet. Ruto fits in the bill. Ruto is a Christian, practicing Christian. What is his stand on LGBT? Yeah? What is his stand? Middle. Raila Odinga would make a stand, either yes or no. In fact, when Ruto was elected the president, I think he had this interview, was it on CNN, where when he was asked that question directly, he took a middle ground. Those are the people Americans love. So Raila Odinga failed to clinch the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. Not because of anything, but because he didn't have the support of Americans, or Americans are not comfortable with Raila Odinga becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya, because Kenya itself is a strategic partner for them. I don't know what you think. That's my take. In fact, in 2017, Godek was personally responsible for Raila Odinga's failure to clinch the presidency. That's it. Bye-bye.